Welcome everyone to a game of Bedlam and Carnage with Dardy Singh leading the forces of Grand Cathay going up against Tzeentch. Now we're going to be playing on the Cathay farmland with a beautiful battle, I must say so. So really beautiful here across the Cathay farmland, starting in the frontier from the forces of Tzeentch. So 4 units of the blue horrors making up the main battle line, backing up here by 3 units of the pink horrors. One of them here being the exalted pink, bringing the arcane mirth, which is really good here for the winds of magic for Tzeentch. So for the Lord Choice on foot, bit of an interesting one here, the Herald of Tzeentch magic. We normally see him on a disc, it makes him quite mobile, plus all those missiles, really do help here across the battlefield. But today he's going to be having the Arcane Conduit, as well as the Fires of Change. 5 units of spells, which is quite interesting. So the Infernal Gateway, the Tzeentch Flamestorm, as well as the Gleam Magic, Blue Fires of Tzeentch, and the Pink Fire of Tzeentch. So quite a few spells, and I know that magic is abundant here in Total War Warhammer 3 compared to Total War Warhammer 2, but still I would say there's probably too many magic spells to bring to the battlefield. The Chromatic Tome here, as well as the Locus of Conjuration and the Opal Amulet as the abilities. Now we're going to have the beauty of the Soul Grinder, a great hybrid unit. It's going to have bonus as large and armor piercing for the missile strength, including a bonus as large of 40. So that's nothing there to shake a stick at. And then we're also going to have good armor piercing weapon strength for that melee combat. So a really nice front line here, which is going to be having a frontal assault. But then on the flanks, 2 units here of the Chaos Furies. And then on the left, across this beautiful river, is going to be 2 more of the Furies, and then the Doom Knights. Very expensive. We're not going to be seeing the Regiment of Renown today, but these bad boys really can do quite well. 100 armor, silver shields, and they have a really nice elevator effect outside of melee combat. So if they charge down to the floor, they can almost go straight up, which makes them so good at leaving combat. Now coming forward here for Grand Cathay, we are going to have some Jade Lancers, one here on the left flank, I believe one on the right flank as well. In the middle we are going to be having the Righteous Lancers of Wei-Jin. Now these bad boys are so goddamn awesome. They bring armor piercing for expensive elite flying cavalry, which is so useful, plus also the Guardian and Immune to Psychology, which I really think is underrated. A brilliant armor class considering 105 speed, and that charge bonus is so goddamn good. Now they're going to be supporting a Dragon-Blooded Lord of Yang here on a great Longmar. Look at that physical resistance coming into play with the Jade Amulets and the spells of the Might of Heaven and Earth, as well here as the Dragon Breath and the Jade Shield. So some really good offensive spells, some really good defensive spells. I really like the hybrid here coming from the Lord Choice. So we are going to have the big balloon, the Sky Junk. Junk really shouldn't be in its name anymore. It's going to be having quite a few buffs here coming from the most recent patches. Of course here the Sky Bomb's getting a bit of a bonus. I believe it's missile strength or maybe it's ammunition, but there was quite a few elements to it that actually got bonus. And I really like it on this map with so much foliage, having the Eye of the Dragon. Having that forest spotting is so goddamn good. Now on the floor, 3 units of the Jade Warriors, backed up here by the Peasant Long Spearmen. The main backline here, 3 units of the Peasant Archers, and then also the beautiful Crane Gunners, simultaneously getting a buff and a debuff at the same time. They've got a reduction in cost, which I think is really good here for the multiplayer scene, but then also their penetration went down from 2 to 1. So they're not going to be doing so well up against mass infantry, but still nonetheless, I think they're a really good choice. In the middle, we are going to be having the Terracotta Sentinel, the big bad boy here, the unbreakable Titan of old, who is just so goddamn good in almost any matchup, and I just love to see him. The fact he's unbreakable and he just fights to the end here for Grand Cathay is just so heroic. I absolutely love it. So we're going to come forward here, Blue Horrors and the Co going to charge, and what I really like coming straight out the door here from Dardy Singh, we are going to see some of the cavalry, lances down, charging forward, Blue Horrors just yeeting flame into the front, but the cavalry just dives in and destroys these Blue Horrors. You can see that shield is already gone. They're now taking permanent damage, and there's no healing here on the side of Tzeentch. So really nice stuff there from the Jade Lancers, doing some lovely stuff. Of course, they are going to be on fire, and which means the Blue Horrors will do better in melee combat, but still nonetheless, they're going to be doing some pretty damn good work. That's 100 armor, plus the bronze shields there. That's got some pretty good stuff there from the Blue Horrors, and not too shabby. So in the middle, a bit of a first mistake here, I must say. So we are going to have the Song Grinder. He's going to be firing in the frontier up against the, the Jade Warriors. The main threat in the sky here is going to be the Righteous Lancers, or maybe even the Sky Junk. So you could shoot either of those, maybe even the Lord Choice as well. Is pretty large there on a Longmar. I think that's probably where you should be certainly probably putting your anti-large armor-piercing missiles. So we charge forward here with the Chaos Furies. Bit of a mistake here coming from the Tzeentch player for the second time. We fly in here with the Furies, all coming from the same direction, including the Doom Knights. We could actually do a bit of a distraction kind of effects here with the Furies as they dive forward here. The Righteous Lancers are going to be fighting in combat, and then we get the Doom Knights in and around, and we get them into the backside here of the Skyjump. But of course, that takes quite a lot of micro. In the middle, we are going to get the Gleam Magic going top here on the Lord of Yang. And now in the middle, we are going to get a nice spell, something that really tides over this battle in the sky. We can see the Might of Heaven and Earth. This is going to give some lovely bonuses. So fire and magical attacks for 75 melee attack, 81 armor-piercing weapon strength, 56 of that being armor piercing. Really helps them dominate in the sky here up against the Doom Knights. If I'm seeing this, I'm leaving this fight. There's no reason to stay. You're only going to lose. But yeah, really nice imbue there coming forward from Grand Cathay. So we're going to be using forward here some missiles, and now actually going to be shooting in the sky. But you can see actually the Doom Knights are going to be in the way here with the Righteous Lancers. So we've got to be careful here. The Soul Grinder, I think, you know, and we can see in the back some nice work coming here from Tzeentch. They're going to be taking down the Crane Gunners. We probably should have got some cavalry or some spearmen around the side here to, you know, maybe even just turn and shoot up against the Furies. They don't really have much armor. But we're going to be firing in the front, and we've done some really, really good stuff. So Blue Horrors also going to be pushing in on their own. This is a mistake that kind of goes on throughout, where we see quite a few of the units of Tzeentch charging forward on their own. You can see they kind of just get, you know, brought or torn apart rather quickly. So Pink Horrors coming forward. I'd like to see those coming together, just shooting up against the Skyjump. Take that down nice and quickly, and then, you know, kind of move on to the next unit. So we do see the Dragon Lord charging backwards here. We can see now trying to fight up against the Chaos Furies. They're going to be dominating the sky quite nicely, so really good work there coming from Dali Singh. So, you know, nice Pink Horror fire here coming up against the blue. This is actually with the Regiment Renowned of the Exalted Pink Horrors might have been quite nice. They actually have an armor sundering effect, which can be really good at just, you know, taking down armor and allowing Pink and Blue Horrors to do great damage here up against things such as the Skyjunk. In the middle, we are going to be getting a fantastic spell. So the Flamestorm going in the front, and then we're going to get the Infernal Gateway, some of the most beautiful magic in the game. It's going to be tearing through the back line here of Grand Cathay, and then we're going to get a bombardment of pink and blue flame through the lines here of the Peasant Archers. I don't particularly think that this is worth it, and actually maybe you could have encapsulated all three units here, but yeah, definitely targeting down the Archers in the back is quite a strong and you know, good play here coming from Tzeentch. Now from Tzeentch, we're going to be pretty low there on the ammunition. Don't quite know where we're aiming for. It looks like we're going to be shooting in the back. I think we're going after the Archers. Looks like we're really trying to get rid of this range here from Tzeentch. Going to be charging forward here with the Jade Lance. We see the Blue Horrors fighting a little bit on their own. They don't really have much missile support in the back. You can see Doom Knights trying to fight off the Righteous Lancers. We also have the Skyjunk still firing here up against the Pink Horrors. And we see the snipers in the nest, you know, doing some really good stuff with the Shield Breaker. And I think that was a Dragon's Breath there that went down the line. Bit of a miss, but, you know, nonetheless, that can happen. With the Herald here, going to be fighting Gleam Magic, getting some good wins there for himself. And we do see here the Dragon Lord is going to be surrounded. Doom Knight's going to be in there doing some really, really good work, backed up by the Exalted Pink Horrors. And they're pretty decent melee combatants. They actually fight pretty well in melee combat. So you really want to get your Lord choice out of there if you can. So, you know, maybe get a Dragon's Breath down the side here, maybe even a Jade Amulet for your Lord choice. No, it's going to be the Might of Heaven and Earth, which is a bit of an interesting one. I think the Jade Amulet, you know, certainly keeps them alive there in the middle. So Pink Flame going to be firing, so we're coming after the Lord choice. Yeah, Dragon's Breath going down the line, it's like catching and, you know, kind of cinching a few here of the Pink Horrors. The main battle line we do see here, I think this is also another mistake. We do see the Sentinel fighting 1v1 up against the Songrider. Not very good there for the Songrider. He's going to be getting shot. He's going to have anti-large spears, and the Sentinel, he's basically going to be like 1 versus 4 here, which is really not very good for him. I would like to see him coming to the backside, trying to see if he can protect all of his Pink Horrors. We see the cavalry now is going to be getting, you know, a bit of a free pass here in the back to take down all these ranged tools. So we now have more of the Jade Warriors coming forward. Jade Lancers just going to be collapsing here all over the Pink Horrors. We do have the Lord Choice just kind of hanging around, acting all cool. I wouldn't actually mind seeing the Dragonblood Lord doing some cycle charging here. The Herald of Tzeentch is really not a good melee combatant. Now on the floor, lovely charges here. Those Lancers drop, and they thump right into the pink flesh here of the Horrors. And you can see they're looking pretty low, down to 3,000 HP, and the Jade Lancers could clear up in the backside. So now we're going to get the second effect here coming from Tzeentch. They're going to be using the Armor Sundering Bolt to come down on the Lord Choice. 2,100 HP, and it should apply some Armor Sundering. So that was 700 damage on the Lord Choice. That's really, really good stuff. And of course that's going to Armor Sunder. The Blue Flame now going to be firing up against the Balloon, but I think that's going to be Armor Lancers. GG's and well played. Nice 360 no-scope there to finish it off. 1.3k there left for the Dragon-Blooded Lord of the Yang. So really good stuff. Really enjoyed this game. Really wanted to cast it. A couple of improvements there for both sides. I think maybe both these players maybe a little bit newer into the multiplayer scene. But 150 kills, 1.6k there for the Herald of Tzeentch. Really like it. I think maybe reducing a few of the items, bringing him maybe on a disc might have been better. He's more mobile, could really help the battlefield a little bit better with his magic. And I think, you know, certainly gives him some more tools to work with. 366 there for the Soul Grinder. I think the targeting there wasn't so great. Also fighting at the end on his own also wasn't so fantastic. He probably wanted to stay in and around the majority of his troops. And I think, interestingly, once we take care of the Peasant Archers and then the backline ranger with the Crane Gunners, I think the battlefield was for Tzeentch. They could have got a bit of kiting on. They could have shot the front line. Of course, the cavalry was a bit of a nuisance. But if you had the Soul Grinder in there, there's no reason we couldn't have maybe turned the tide there for ourselves. But we do see the Furies coming in at 130, 420, 180, and 430. I think one charging in the front to maybe, you know, kind of distract the Righteous Lancers, and then having Furies coming in around the side and just compromising the balloon and doing some more good work there would have probably been the way to do it. I mean, of course, you are throwing one unit of Chaos Furies, but then, of course, you're going to be catching you know, one of the Sky Junks, right? You got 1,200 values, so still did pretty well. Pink Horrors coming in at 370, 650, and 800. One thing I would recommend, if you are going to bring Doom Knights, bring the Regiment of Renowned. There's only 200 extra gold cost, and the stats alone are worth it. Plus, you also get bombardments from them, which is really nice. So you can fly them around, you can drop those bombardments on all these ranged troops, and it's, you know, they're super fast. Of course, it takes a lot of micro, but still, nonetheless, I definitely think it's worth it just for the stats alone. Also, the ROR from the Pink Horrors, they can also use their ability to get more ammunition back. They have armor sundering. I think if you are going to bring a Regiment of Renown, you know, these two would do quite well in this army composition. So 340, 40, 200, and 140 there for the Blue Horrors. They did some good shooting at the beginning, but I think towards the end they kind of just charged on their own. They didn't really have too much support. You wanted your front line going in whilst your Pink Horrors are shooting, and then you had Furies in the backside, you know, maybe getting some rear charges, you know, causing negative to leadership and all those kind of things. But, you know, there's certainly some things here that, you know, I really liked. There's some things here you can definitely improve on. So for the Lord Choice of Yang, we saw 600 there with 1,760 for the Righteous Lancers. I really like that spell cast in the middle. We have the Might of Heaven and Earth going in, giving that melee attack and armor piercing to really take down the Doom Knights. I think that was really smart. 770 there for the Sentinel, 660 and 620 for the Jade Lancers. The front line didn't really do too much. I think it probably could have stayed a little bit closer to the Peasant Archers, and maybe even then the Crane Gunners. I think actually just having one unit of Peasant Long Spearmen sat on your Crane Gunners is not actually too bad. If something flies down, you can push in with the spears that are directly behind, and then of course your Crane Gunners can pull out, which you know, can be a quite can definitely be a quite nice defensive tool. Plus also, you know, make sure that it has that harmony buff. So yeah, good stuff. 1.2k for the Sky Junk, 92, 620. That was the one that was firing there. So still pretty good damage. Even for archers that don't have much AP, they did good work here up against the Soul Grinder. You'd be very surprised at what they are really capable of doing. But other than that, yeah, pretty good stuff. 220 there for the Peasant Long Spearmen, and only 200 for the Crane Gunners. But they got shut down rather early. I think the cavalry have been a little bit more active. We might have seen some protection there for the backside. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please smash that like button. Feel free to leave a comment down below and subscribe if you haven't already.